Alicia Magnus Lewis here with the Los Angeles Tribune, and I have the absolute honor and pleasure of sitting here with Barry Goldstein. He is a musician, a Grammy Award-winning producer, he is a composer, and he is the author of The Secret Language of the Heart. Barry, you have dedicated your life's work really to creating sound that has the power to inspire individuals, to move individuals, and heal individuals. You started playing the guitar as a young boy, but what was it about your musical experiences that helped you figure out that creating and producing and sharing music with the world is what you wanted to do?
Well, it took a couple of stumbles along the way, and literally the type of music that I'm creating now was an experiment. So it blossomed from getting burnt out in the music business per se, and having to create a 4-minute song in 40 to 50 hours in the recording studio, and I started to get burnt out. It became a job, and the aspiration of becoming a record producer that was achieved, but it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be.
So it was kind of by accident, but you stumbled upon or creatively came across music that is really shifting the world. People listen to your music in hospitals. They listen to your music when they're meditating or doing yoga. What is it about the intentionality that you put into the music now that once you discovered your perspective and angle and how you wanted to contribute to the music that you think resonates the most with the people that listen to the songs that you create?
Well, I believe everything is recorded in the music, not just the notes, but it's also your emotions in that moment, your intention in that moment. And that's really what the experiment was, because I was disconnected from the heart at some point of it turning into a business. I asked myself, what would happen, or how can I reconnect with that 14-year-old kid who sat on the edge of his bed, who was just like in awe of writing songs again? So what I did was I targeted my heart at a relaxed state, 60 beats per minute. And instead of composing music, I started decomposing to it, just letting it go through me. And I think that was the key, moving out of the analytical mind and just letting myself move to a very deep and meditative state in the process. And because my intention was to connect back to the heart, that's like the recipe, right? It was being stirred into all the ingredients. And I had no idea that anyone would listen to hour-long pieces of music with very little melody. But because it took me to such a deep state where I was able to move to more relaxed states, less anxiety, better sleep, I started sharing it with people. And they started telling me how they were using it. So because I became part of the experiment, they became part of the experiment. And I'm using it with my mom who has dementia. I'm using it with a loved one who's birthing a child into the world. I'm using it with someone who's passing over into hospice. And it started defining itself based on the ingredients that were in it. So the composition, the intention, the emotion, and the harmonics and frequencies that were in it, all are contributing factors that go into it.
Wow. So Barry, you work with new artists, young artists, artists in the pop world to help them figure out and really evolve their sound. What would you want to share with musicians and composers out there about how they can balance understanding and allowing their intuition to flow through them while also thinking through the technical aspects of producing or singing?
Great question. I think it's important that it's not just them creating. So when you step into that you're creating with something beyond yourself, it takes some of the pressures off of having creative blocks, because when you're connected, you never have creative blocks. So that becomes a red flag. A creative block becomes a way of saying that maybe I'm not in the space that I need to be in the creative process. So even before they start going into the recording, there's always a before, during, and after. So before you even are moving into that creation, would your mindset change if you knew that you were creating with something that was sacred, something that was divine? Would your space change? Would that argument that you had with someone, would you be leaving it outside the door and moving into your heart space beforehand if you know everything was recorded, not just the notes? So that's your before picture.
Yeah.
And then your during picture, just aligning to the emotion of what it is that you're looking to create. Don't just think of the technical aspects of hitting the right notes or hitting the right chords, but is the feeling being translated into the piece of music that you're sharing? And then after, the after picture, once you're birthing it, how do you want to share it with the world? What's the story behind it? A lot of artists leave behind the vulnerabilities that happened to them, that inspired them in the song, because they're playing it safe. But really what resonates with people listening is authenticity. We want to know.
Yeah.
We want to know the artist's journey.
Yeah, that's fascinating because you think about it from the perspective of creation with the artist, but then when you think about it from the perspective of the person that's listening or receiving what that creation is, they often say that your life can be reflective of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I've spoken to Marie Diamond in the past, and I've asked her the question, does she think that your life could be reflective of the 5 spaces that you spend your most time in? I'm kind of curious for you, what are your thoughts around someone's life being reflective of maybe the 5 songs that they listen to the most? What kind of impact do you think that they could have on their life?
Well, if they're plugging them in, if you think of music like medicine as well, you would have different songs that you play for different things. Like you might have one to, for sleep. You might have one to wake up to and move into the space of gratitude. So it's really the purpose behind them and how it's defined. And but I think it changes. I don't think we always have the same 5 musical pieces, but I like the idea of having 5, that could be for different things. One could be for challenging or to move energy. So I think it would be, to take that a step further, to have the person who's using the 5 pieces asking themselves, what 5 areas of my life could I really use music to help me in, or sound? Like, where do I want to use those right now? And going inward, checking in with the heart, and that's a conversation that most of us are not taught in school, the conversation of the heart. If you ask your heart a question, you're going to get an answer, but you have to learn how to listen to it, because you're not just talking, you're hearing back, and there's this communication that goes on between our intuition, not just our mind, but our heart's intelligence is really important.
Yeah, I think it would be an interesting journal prompt to ask people to go into their most played songs on their phone, and then think about why do I listen to the song? What feeling or memory is it bringing for me? Because I think oftentimes people listen to music because it puts them in a good mood, or they're getting ready, they're cooking, but how deeply are they actually thinking about the impact of the sounds that they're listening to? It's curiosity, and it could be an interesting journal prompt for anyone that is tuning in. Curious for you, what is the last song that you played on repeat, and why do you think that was? That you just kind of kept looping it back?
So let me see. The very last one,
Yeah.
I played was a Diva Primal song, and I literally listened to the whole album on repeat. It's called Love is Space.
Okay.
And the whole album is runs about 40 minutes. And I just listen to it when I want to create new energy in my life. It feels very pure, innocent, but also at the same time powerful. Yeah, I think that's the last one. But there are many songs that I remember doing that with.
Yeah.
In the Arms of an Angel, In the Arms of the Angels by Sarah McLachlan was one of them. Bruce Springsteen, Hometown. Lots of them. There are lots of them that were on repeat in my life.
It's nice to see you smile when you actually think about and reflect on these songs.
I mean, that's what music does, right? I'm hearing those songs in my head as you're asking me about them. So it literally transcends time and space.
The power of music. You have coined the phrase acousticals, and you've talked often about the healing impact and power of music. What is it about the concept of acousticals or music as being healing power that you really want people to understand, think about, or kind of reflect on a little bit further in their lives?
Well, I think that people should know that music is being highly researched now, and sound and vibration. It's not where it was 30 years ago in terms of some things being considered woo or, really out there. A lot of these things that are being studied are thousands and thousands of years old that have been used for health. And I say music is the oldest biohack that we have, because people were using it in a lot of different ways as medicine for a very long period of time. So this is not that new, in terms of what we're doing with it. But I think Acousticuticals is really about tapping into music as a support mechanism to medicine. And because it's low cost and non-invasive and can actually work with benefiting a lot of the precursors to chronic and terminal illnesses that we experience in our culture. A lot of precursors are around stress, sleep, anxiety. Like, all of these things contribute to the deterioration of our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. So if you have something as easily accessible as music, the question is why would you use it? Is why wouldn't you use it? Like, why wouldn't you try a piece of music before you go to bed that can help you fall asleep and stay asleep longer, and to bridge your brainwave states down into a more conducive state to sleep? Why wouldn't you use a piece of music in the morning to move you to a state of gratitude and to connect you with your life force and your heart and your breath, that, wow, I'm here again, right? And I have a chance to wipe the slate and have a whole new day. What piece of music would be perfect for that? And why wouldn't you plug it into your day? Like, if you have a situation that takes you out of that space, which a lot of us do, why wouldn't you have something that can take you back into that space instead of allowing it to snowball, right, into a situation where you're spending a lot of energy? So ultimately, it's taking you off path, right, and from where you want to be in terms of sharing your gift and your energy. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have enough energy to share your mission and your legacy, whatever that is, then that's where we start to spiral down into things like depression and sleeping challenges and all type of things that affect our longevity as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it truly is energizing. It's healing. In the past, you've talked about scheduling music into your day, just the way that you could schedule a meeting or schedule going to the gym. What are maybe 2 or 3 songs that you have found yourself scheduling into your day, and why? To give people insight to like the impact of what scheduling music in your day can actually do for a person.
So that's very personal as well. Not per se, well, I don't want to share it, but it's going to be personal to the people who are listening. So I'm going to give you an example. My gratitude playlist when I start my day in the morning is Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful Life, Sly and the Family Stone, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, Dido, Thank You. All right, those are like 3 songs when I'm looking to kind of ignite my day. Those are 3 that kind of put me in a movement space. And then I have a more relaxing one that I have a composition I created called the Heart Codes that really puts me more into that softer state of gratitude. So it's going to be going into your music and literally looking and say, oh, I used to love this song. Oh, wow, I love this. This used to make me so fill in the blank, right? This used to make me so happy. This used to make me so motivated, whatever it is. And then plug that in to the morning, plug a playlist into the middle of your day, and plug it into the night. So start out with 3 songs in a playlist to make it simple. And think of it as breakfast, lunch, and after dinner.
And it can really shift you in your day. I love that.
It does.
Thinking about insert blank, happy, gratitude, energized, whatever it may be for you. For you, what is the most important life lesson that you think that music has taught you?
That it's always there for me. So having something that is consistent in your life that you can always depend on, regardless of what you're going through. That music can be your confidant, it could be your best friend, it could be your lover, it could help you move through grief as well. Something you have consistently. Imagine that, like having a mentor your whole life. Think of that as like music being your mentor. What is music going to teach me today? What lesson can I learn from it today? Or what can I listen to today to just be? You know, and having something that consistent in your life has been very, very healing for me.
That's interesting. I've actually found myself in the morning, I do this actually often. I'll put my music on shuffle and I'd say universe or source, what would you like
that.
me to,
Yeah.
what would you like to teach me today? And I hit shuffle, and whatever song comes on first, I'm like, what is the lesson in there that I can take with me throughout this day? So Barry, you're in the film, The Pillars of Power, a Los Angeles Tribune film that covers 5 pillars of power, or the hidden secrets to success. For you, what is the message that you really wanted to bring to the film, and why was it important for you personally to be a part of this experience, the Pillars of Power experience?
I think that music can be an integral part of each of the pillars and can help within each one of those as well. So that's why I was excited to kind of represent the sound and music, as an expert within that, because I've helped people to transform within that. And I know a lot of times you need to shake energy loose in all of those areas. There's a lot of things that happen on a subconscious level that are responsible for having blocks in any of the pillars. And ultimately, if you have a block in one pillar, it's going to affect another pillar as well. So music can just be an amazing tool to shake energy loose and to also let go of energy. So once you're moving through a block, you have the ability to expand and bring in lighter energy. And that's what creates movement in all of those areas. And I think music can be a vehicle within each one of those that can really help, whether it's through money or spirituality or whatever the pillar is that you feel you might be weakest in. Think of, well, how can I use music? How can I use sound within these methodologies as a tool to help me transmute or to transform energy and to act as a catalyst to jumpstart that? Wow.
And for you, it really is a catalyst, and music can shift so much. How would you kind of explain the concepts that you've studied with neuroscientists, you've worked with life coaches and development coaches? How would you kind of think about and summarize your biggest learnings from the work that you've done to share with a child that's in elementary school, to teach them about music and the impact and power of music as they're growing up, so that it's kind of that it's part of their consciousness and their understanding and their being?
So I think that we've lost connection with the heart space in terms of what we're passing on to children. But even people who are just getting into sound healing or want to know how they can use sound more powerfully, I always say, well, start with the sound within you. So music's not just happening to you, it's happening in you. You have your heartbeat, you have your breath moving in and out, you have your sigh that goes in. So starting your day and just placing your hands on your heart and feeling your own unique vibration is a great message for children and adults, because although we all have a same heartbeat, we have a heartbeat, it's not the same. It's unique to each one of us, our own unique vibration. And when they can connect with that and listen to the music within them, like listen, close your eyes for a second with me, place your hands on your heart, and just feel your heartbeat pulsing in your body. And then bring a big breath in through the center of your heart. And let out a really big audible sigh. Do that one more time. Big breath in through your heart. And a big audible sigh out. And when we can just connect with that, even for 1 or 2 breaths, like what is that teaching you about your connection? That you necessarily don't have control of everything in your life. There's something creating this with you. There's something in collaboration with you. That sigh out as we get older in our lives begins to symbolize It's going to be okay, right? When we sigh out.
Yeah.
So if you can create an awareness around the music within you, then when you listen to music traditionally, like through art and entertainment, it becomes amplified. You hear the nuances of it a lot clearer. So we're listening to it. You're really not listening to it with your ears, are you?
You're feeling it. What came to me was the bliss within. I heard it twice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you got a message that happened in what, 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like imagine if that was a daily practice where we were teaching children, music starts within you. Music starts with your heart. And although yours is different than everyone around you,
Yeah.
it's still beautiful. And it's your heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's your breath.
It's your breath. It's within. You write about it in your book, The Secret Language of the Heart. It's been so wonderful speaking with you today, Barry. As we come to a close here, I would like for you to share with our audience, what is a message that you have that's on your heart, that's in your heart, that you really like to share with everyone today?
So
What is a message that you have on your heart, or in your heart, that you'd really like to share with the listeners today?
Okay, so we are all creators. And I think, let me do that one more time. So am I looking?
You can look directly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say. Yeah. So my message to listeners would be that we are all creators, that creativity is not reserved for musicians or artists, that you're constantly creating in your life. You're creating a moment when you go to the restaurant and you smile at the waitress, or you give somebody a hug, or you tell someone that you love them. You're in constant creation, and you are connecting and creating with something beyond yourself. Now, if you take that and you bring that into your day, into what it is you're here to create in the world, and you know that you are one of the most powerful creators, that you have the ability to create anything. And we come into the world as creative geniuses. Studies have shown that when they measured children at 5 years old, that 98% of them were considered creative geniuses. So take that genius with you and reconnect to that child who has the ability to create anything, and look through the lens of being curious and in love with life, and you'll be able to create anything.
That's so beautiful. If you're listening to this right now, you heard it from Barry. Know that you are indeed a creative genius. Thank you so much, Barry, for your time today and speaking with us. And we're really looking forward to all of the gems that you've shared in Pillars of Power. Highly encourage you that are tuning in to go watch the film when it is out.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.